Year 12 last year and Year 11 last year and into this year have heard me introduce a concept that I think is really, really important and something that I'd like to develop in conversation with you across this year. It's this concept of respect. It's what's on the screen, and you've seen it around in the Learning Common and in other places. And in thinking about the concept of respect, one of the things that I spent a little bit of time working on and with students last year and the beginning of this year was some of the parts of that respect, some of the ways in which that respect shows itself, it develops, it exists between and across each of us and in our relationships with each other. So today I'd like to take the first of those 7 elements, this idea of rhythm. Thanks, sir. Just now we've prayed Shrove Tuesday. Tomorrow we know is Ash Wednesday. So all of us, in the natural sense of the seasons, in the church's sense of the seasons, we have a sense of rhythm. Whether we measure time according to the sun or the moon, whether we use the Justinian or Roman calendar or the Chinese calendar, we again have that sense of time. So time is measured in years, time is measured in seasons, time is measured in months, in weeks and days. All of us, as we've arrived at Southern Cross, have had a challenge to get used to a different rhythm, a new rhythm. Whether that's in our courses, whether that's in our classes, whether that's in having flexible time so our days don't necessarily look the same, whether it's in starting at 7 a.m. in some of our block classes and in other cases finishing at 6 p.m. That's altogether different for all of us from the various schools and places that we've come from. We also know that that sense of rhythm changes in our apprenticeships and traineeships. We have early starts. Depending upon what area we're working in different locations. That requires us to be across the detail of public transport. In our workplaces, we go to different places. In our part-time work, some of which comes, if we're fortunate, from our work placement experience, we also experience things differently. For those of us who've gone out, in the case of Year 12, to undertake social outreach, that too has got a different rhythm about it. So I think this concept of rhythm is really important as a life skill. It's important here at Southern Cross, but it's important more broadly that all of us are or grow to be flexible and adaptable and able to cope with change, that we are prepared for change. Some people say that change is the only constant in life. So that's a really important skill in our learning, in our training, in our work, and in life more generally. Many of us will know, thanks sir, that in our transition from school to life beyond school, there's going to be challenges in relation to time and rhythm and being flexible and being prepared to change. Recently, I heard a statistic that 25% of 18 to 25-year-olds are either unemployed or underemployed. In other words, not in enough work or in as much work as they would like to be. So in order for us to be successful now, and particularly in our life beyond school, we need to get that rhythm right. We need to be flexible, we need to be adaptable. We need to know that perhaps in those years beyond school, we won't necessarily find one full-time job. It might be that we're working in 2 or 3 different jobs in order to make ends meet, in order to make the most of life for us. So today, if we can, all of us, take on the challenge of rhythm and time, and knowing that life now and into the future is going to require that of us, in order that we realise the best of ourselves and the best of what God hopes that all of us can be.